the scariest thing and I speak for all of us in here, is knowing that one day you got to release your kids to the world. You know what I mean? That's the scariest thing. We will never. It's not a man on this Zoom right here that can say they don't stress every day. And they stress and don't even know it. They could be having the time of their life. I know I ain't even met Big Pimpin' Ken, but I know he was outside. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a time where it's gonna be plenty of those times. There's gonna be a Saturday morning before those football games come on. It's gonna be a Wednesday night when you get off of work. It's gonna be a Monday morning when you don't want to go into work, and you thinking like, "Damn, one day I gotta let my kids go. Yeah, I gotta let them go." And you gotta teach them. You got to teach them enough stuff, and you just got to hope and pray that the important stuff that they need, the survival tactics, the common sense, everything that you instill to them, you got to you just got to pray that they keep some of that with them.
It's the common sense part that don't be clicking. That's what
I know, but we do in their defense, old common sense will still carry you through this new world, but it is a new world. It is.
Just me and you.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's your host, Drake B. Drake with Everythang Culture, the podcast for all cultures, or podcast with a purpose. And we're back with a Father's Day special. This is 2024, and I'm happy to have these great men together with us this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whenever you're listening, whenever you're watching this. And, we may have some old people pop in, but for right now, we got these great guys here. I want to say thank y'all so much, first and foremost, for being here. But I want to introduce my guy, Baylor, the Great.
What up? Hi, everybody.
We're going to introduce my guy, Ken, Big Ken. What's going on, brother?
What's poppin'? Y'all know what it is. 2G, 2 Got it. What's poppin'?
Hey, man, we got my partner. Y'all should know who this is. All the way from the originator, the one who came up with this brainchild of this beautiful platform that we're able to grow together and learn together right here. Everything Culture. What we going? We going by G-Jack? I remember G-Jack.
I'll be G-Jack today. I go back to G-Jack.
Okay. And we have somebody joining us right now. Man, he's traveling. He's in the way. He's in the wind. But we got KG. He's connecting with us right now. What's going on, my brother Kevin? He on mute, but hey, we here.
Man,
we just now started. Hey, we just now started. You right on time. You
Boy,
right on time.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I said, I was traveling, man. I was in Mississippi last night. I'm in North Carolina right now. Gonna be in Virginia tomorrow. We doing me and my daughter, we do a little road trip every so often. So we doing daddy-daughter road trip. And I specifically made it for this time because I wanted to have her during Father's Day.
See, and that's why we here. See, and that's why you here. Beautiful. That's why you here. That's why we want to see how I see the type of man that you guys are, and I greatly appreciate that. And I hope this episode continue to reach people, reach other fathers, future fathers, and children, to see the type of people that we have in this world and the type of effort it goes for to being what people may call a dad. You feel me? So I want to kick it off once again. Thank you for being here, man. And so far, how are you feeling?
Hey, so real quick, because I don't know if this happened or not. I appreciate you for shouting us out, but I also want to shout you out. The fact that you're not a father and you put this together. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely appreciate that, because one of the biggest things and the best things about Everythang Culture is that you bring all cultures and everything together. And then, for you to reach out to us the way you did and have us here, I think we got to shout you out. We got to show support. we got to make sure you know that we appreciate what you got going, because you definitely, I can say it for myself, and I can't speak for everybody, but for the guy that I am, and I follow your TikToks, I follow you on Instagram, I follow you on YouTube, and when you pop in and say stuff like, "Hey, man, how everybody doing? Good morning, beautiful people." You know, like, as a person who, the positivity, the motivation that you put out to the world, I think is important. And then as we talk about things, as you yourself have spoke on men's mental health and the fact that you do the check-ins and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure it's some them no different than you to check in on me. So I want to make sure, if you haven't been shot out, since I'm on here, to do my best to make sure I shot you out for that at a minimum.
Hey, thank you. Hey, first of all, I'm gonna say that straight up. I ain't gonna ever pass up no thank you, no kudos and things. That is greatly appreciated, man. It's work. I would say, especially, I'm not a father. Ain't nothing came from my huevos. I would say that, but I serve as a father figure to some or many. And my thing is, I want to make sure to shock people out. We got enough negativity out here in this world. We want to see some light. And as I said, right when you came in or right before, man, hey, I've seen the things y'all do. I may not be, saying that out loud, but I be peeping, I be recognizing. So I invited y'all and a few more brothers, try to bring, my diverse folks in here too, because a lot of people don't see positivity in their life. A lot of folks, y'all know the work I used to do. Y'all know I come from child welfare. Y'all know I used to work at CPS. So when I see guys out here, just like I talk about with the mothers, it's a sacrifice to be a mother. And it's a sacrifice to be a father, but it's also, I look at it as like an honor, a legacy as well. When you're stepping up and making those changes, it's absolutely amazing. And once again, I want to say first, thank you again, Kevin, KG, man. I appreciate that love. But man, I want to say I appreciate y'all again. But how y'all feeling? How y'all doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I can tell you that. I'm good. Had a good day. It's Friday. Glad I'm off work. I've been busy though. Just from work to, we had another event today in the community. We had another food truck Friday, so I came straight from there to jump on this call. So, but I still feel good though.
I appreciate it. Hope you hydrated, brother.
Yeah, it was hot.
Hey man, my boy G Jack, they have events in their neighborhood. I gotta do a quick shout out. Proud of this brother, been knowing this man since I was in Head Start, 4 years old. So 34 years been knowing this person, you feel me? And he won, was it volunteer of the year at the school or ISD, something around that nature? That's crazy. Okay, in my opinion, that is a beautiful thing, because I used to try to get them to volunteer all the time. And I love, his mother's. If y'all hear my Mother's Day episode, I talk about his mother all the time. And we tell you this joke all the time, but she told me, now, Brandon, see, I even said the government, black people don't volunteer. But and the thing is, she volunteered like crazy. She did, but the thing is, to see her son win volunteer of the year, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm proud of you, brother, man.
Congrats, big dog.
It's not because he's doing outside of just his kids. He's serving others as well.
Beautiful.
Ken, how you been, man?
I'm good, G. I'm tired, mentally. Well, physically tired, and that's because of my mental, because of the job. Saying I've had a lot of changes going on within the last few weeks. I moved into the house, baby girl graduated. My job is going through this thing to where it involves me to do a lot more work mentally. So all that together is very draining, you know. But I am. Can you talk? Not really religious, but I know where my strength comes from. Let's just say that I know God, So I just, I let my kids know that, it's okay to sometimes not be okay. It's not okay to stay in it. You know what I'm saying? So right now, I'm good, man. This is a, you know me, I'm a side person. This is kind of new for me. You feel me? Like, but I mean, so here you go. But um, relatively, man, I feel blessed. I feel blessed to be here. I feel like I'm learning something. Any opportunity, I feel like I can learn something or I can take in from some new energy. Especially black men, beautiful because you need these moments. These moments are imperative. So somebody can look at this and be like, okay, he's a any person I know. I mean, I know Ted a little bit, but I know Drake. And if we all can come together and people can see this and have open communication, I'm excited. So I feel real good. I'm excited. Like I said, I appreciate you for asking me to be here, bro. Like for real.
Hey, man,
Like,
thank you.
I definitely appreciate it.
You spoke. We still got to do the makings.
I'm ready. I'm tired.
Okay.
But see, every time I see man, these tears and shit. Hey, listen, bro. I be trying to thug it out sometimes. I be like, hold on, man. He trying to set me up, bro. But
Hey,
listen though, since I turned 40, my tear ducts started working. My tear ducts has never worked. As soon as I turned 40, I can't watch America's Got Talent. I can't watch American Idol. I'm here bawling, crying for no reason. But let somebody get a
Bro,
golden buzzer. Let somebody get a golden buzzer. I'm crying all over the place. They
bro,
deserved it.
bro.
Come on,
I
dude.
don't know. And it's something. And he talked about learning something, bro. I swear to you, I'm in the same mode right now. I swear, like I just turned 39 last weekend, and I swear to
happy
you,
birthday.
appreciate it. But like, man, I be crying at the weirdest things too.
Man,
Like, I'm like, man, I've seen this movie 100 times. I
100
knew he
times.
was gonna die. I
But for
knew
some
she was
reason,
gonna get beat up or whatever. And for whatever reason today, I'm like,
it hurts your feelings. I'm
man,
like, bro,
man.
like,
And
man,
I
motherfucker.
was like, I swear to you, man, like until you just said it right now. Like I knew about myself, but I didn't know everybody else was on the same thing. So until you said it
Bro,
just right now,
I'm
this
very
whole
much
time I was
transparent,
just
bro.
like, I ain't really been telling nobody about it, but I was just the same way.
I cry for a golden buzzard on America's Got Talent, bro. Somebody
Yo,
crying to everybody, and that slow motion hit, man. I'm boo-hooing. I'm 400 pounds. I'm crying.
Hey,
They deserve it.
yo,
we're gonna tap into this. We're gonna come back to this.
oh man, I swear to
I
you, bro.
think
But
I
hold on,
think
hold
the
on.
older. Go ahead.
Baylor,
What up?
how you doing, my guy?
Man, I'm about sick of my kids. I don't know what everybody else going through. I'm about tired of mine, bro. They can go. I'm not gonna even front on you. We're not about to lie today. They can. I'm tired of my kids. I do not like kicking it with my kids all the time. Get away from me, bro. They the ops.
Hey, we appreciate the transparency,
Hey
man.
yo, hey
Hey,
yo.
I ain't gonna lie to him. I ain't gonna lie. I done had those moments too.
It must have really pissed you off today.
Man, we go when we get to these questions. I'm gonna tell you why.
That boy said they the ops.
Hey, man. Hey,
He
we
said
love
they
the
the
kids.
ops.
We love kids. So going back to Baylor, man. How many kids representing your crew, bro? How many kids in your crew?
I got four. A total of four. 2 boys, 2 girls. My 18-year-old and my 8-year-old stay with me, and they run the house, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they turn like I got an 18-year-old boy and I got an 8-year-old daughter.
Ooh.
So now we enter in a new stage of parenthood. So now I have to parent an adult kid. You know what I mean? A young adult. And so that's been different. So, it's and then I mean you got the other kids surrounding them, I got the nieces and the nephews.
Mm-hmm.
I got my nephew coming over. I requested that though. I'm not even gonna care. I was like, hey, go get my guy, man. I need to, because we about to go to Target. We about to live it all. If you are in a relationship or you married, Target is the hottest date spot known to mankind right now. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking my little nephew to Target. We're gonna find something, some type of action figure to break apart once we get home. But yeah, man, like I officially a father of 4, but a father to all.
Love it, man. Love it. G-Jack, man. How many you got?
I'm a father of three boys from
Okay.
6, 9, and 16. So
Shout out.
I'm kind of like you, Baylor, with the almost headed to adulthood. It's scary, ain't it?
It's scary, and they the ops, bro. Like we
Yep.
really be beefing in my house. We beefing my so yeah. That's a different. That's just a different level, man. When you have to parent, because we gonna get to it, but yeah, it's scary. It's scary for sure.
Okay. Ken.
2.5. Well, two by my lady, but I have my sister's daughter. You know, I've been raising her since she was probably like 15 or 16 years old. So, but that's my daughter. You know what I'm saying? That's my. So I'm gonna say three. Because she go back and watch this, and I say 2.5. And she's the opposite. So so it's like, but my son is 23. He's 22. Um, that's my guy. That's I get into it, but when I look at him, yeah, he gonna make me emotional. So
I'm gonna say, this man about to start crying now. I feel it.
because I'm proud of him though. Like
Yeah.
but it was when somebody else goes out their way to tell you how your son is. That means you did
Yeah.
something right. So I got a 22-year-old son, and then my baby girl, she turns 18, and she just graduated. That's when she just graduated. That's my G. That's my thug. That's thug. That's my baby girl. But and then my niece daughter, she's 19. So I raised her, basically, and that's my baby girl. So yeah, I got grown kids. No more.
Uh,
Okay.
okay, we may come to that too. Okay.
Yeah.
KG, man. Wait, how your army looking?
Listen, man. So hold on, because I got to count on like 6 kids, 7 baby mamas. You know what I'm saying?
I was about to say,
Nah,
I need to
That's
have
good.
a I need to have
nah, hey,
a button.
nah, man. I got 3, 2, of course, and then I told my son's older sister that I'd be her father because she asked me. And then at work, I ain't gonna even talk about how many I got at work, man.
Mm.
I'd have adopted so many. I'm telling you, my taxes should be banging every year, but you know, but officially 3. And then like my son's oldest brother, like I helped raise him for a bit. Like if you go back in any of my video you see kid graduating and me taking pictures with him. That was his oldest brother, which is it's kind of like how I met his mom for the most part. Like I was his coach, and then I became like his father figure. So like that was a big deal though. Like you guys say, like he hit me up, say, hey, I want to invite you to my graduation. Like I want you to be here. And then he was like, yo, he was like, I said, I got you. If I can make it, I got you. And I think like a week and a half later, he hit me and was like, hey, no, for real, I need you to be here. Like this is like the reason that I'm walking across the stage is like one of the biggest reasons is I need you to be here. So I was like, I'm in route.
Once again, I don't have any biological, but I have my niece that I helped bring up for a short time when her father was incarcerated. Yeah, I say my niece, she's my little cousin. I'm a role model for many of my nephews and cousins and actual nieces and things. But my mentee, I was his caseworker when he was 11. I was his guardian ad litem, became his guardian ad litem when he was 16, came back into his life. Well, God put us back in each other's life, I would say that. And then when I moved over to a different route, like I left the program and the casework aside, he asked the judge for me to be his mentor. So I've been his mentor since he was the age of 16, and he's 26 now. So I've been his mentor for 26 years now. And, he always called and wished me happy Father's Day. I'm closest thing to it. Oh man, he cried and boo-hooed when he found out I was leaving Houston, going to Seattle. He cried and boo-hooed when he found out I was coming back to Seattle. He's in college. And when kids in foster care, You know, they really don't have a lot of even though they have a lot of resources, i.e. money, their tuition's paid for, they still don't have that type of support. And that's my thing. I want to make sure it started off like I'm just gonna support him, make sure to keep him there. But now it's like he's family now. And I'm proud of the young man. I hope he understands that and knows that. And yeah, that type of work goes a long way because you know, just seeing that and try to be that good example for him. That's one of the biggest things to say. So speaking on that, y'all coming up, I can speak from my perspective. You know, my father was distant, but I had a lot of father figures in my life. You know what I mean? I've had a lot of men that, you know, that just came in like uncles, cousins, men in the community that I'm like, okay, they just take me under the wing, coaches and things of that nature. Who's been in your life? You know, if you want to name them all, or if you want to name just like one specifically or a couple, your father or you know, the father's figure in your life, who's been an example, made an example to what is a father to you?
My father.
Go ahead, Ken. You got it.
My father was the neighborhood father. I don't know a day he wasn't in my house. Him and my mom been married for almost 45 years. You know, so, and his job was he went to all of the hoods and him and his company cleaned up the project properties. So he moved around, but the thing about it was we had to go with him. We went with him, but he was there with us the whole time. And that's what I do now. I'm a facilities director, so it's like I follow his footsteps. But my father, man, like it's just the way he disciplined me. It was just like looking back at it now. I thought it was hard, but he wasn't. He always let me make my own decisions. He would give it like he was all right. That's like all right. You know he he was stern, but it was always out of respect. It was never we never was scared of him. And everybody in the hood was because we big me and my brother huge and my father's only like 6 foot nothing. And he was skinny, but everybody in the hood respected him because he had this aura about him. Like when he spoke, you listened to him. Like you just because you knew something was gonna come out of his mouth. You knew something he was gonna say something. Like but he would always ask us, even before first thing he asked us in the morning, how are you feeling this morning? I'm good, Pops. Okay. That's it. He would always ask before he went to bed, how was your day? I mean, I'm talking about at 9, 10 years old, every day. He would always ask, not knowing how important that is to me now because I do that. So that's like my best friend right now. Like, that's literally like my guy. Funny story. My father had the pacemaker and it went out and he was outside yesterday. No, what's the day? Wednesday. He's in the hospital. He got rushed to the emergency room.
Oh man.
I'm sick. I had a headache. He in there giving me life game, talking about you gotta take care of yourself and drink, stay hydrated. I'm like, you there trimming hedges and you literally found out how to call ambulance.
Mm.
But when he seen my eyes and how bloodshot red they was, he immediately went to Pops mode. Man, you gotta say, don't worry about me. I've lived my life. I've got great grandchildren. You still have life to live. You gotta start taking care of yourself. If somebody would have told me the shit that I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't have went out there and trimmed them hedges.
Mm.
I was like, oh,
Mm.
and I had to stop and think about it. He said, but you got somebody like that. You out there exerting yourself after what? So you can be like this at 66, laying in the bed doing stupid shit.
Mm.
That man is like, with him, I didn't have to look for nobody else to be my father figure. I didn't because I had one. I had that, you know. So my father, man, my father is my role model, and to this day, he's probably my best friend. And I'm
Thank you.
43 years old.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, man. Hey,
For
we go come back to that discussion too. That you blended in right what we talking about.
Yeah.
Anybody want to hop in? Y'all want to shout out? Or
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I mean, Drake, you know my dad. My dad's always quiet. He didn't have to say nothing, but he said something. You know what I'm saying? He was my dad's more like lead by example. He not really like a talker, like a big motivational speaker, but he always go find the right way to say it in a funny way. But you'll get the point though, and it's always like, damn, he was right. But so I can say my dad's more like a lead by example type person. Um, but I think as far as like leading by just as far as character and trying to give you advice and stuff like that, that would probably go more towards my uncles. Like my mama had see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 brothers. So and they all just got some. I can say I can take some from every one of them. They all gave me some type of life advice growing up, or trying to keep me in line, or try and just tell me what to do, and just help me out and let me borrow their car for prom or whatever. They're just always there. So I can say I probably had a lot of examples of a father figure in that area, just from my mom's brothers or my uncles, and then like I said, my dad just led by example.
Oh, man, for real. I got shout out to Mr. Jack. Let's say that, Mr. Jack. Hey, I say quite often, man. G Jack was one of my very, very, very few friends who had their father in their life. Okay. Okay. You feel me? Like, count on, if I had 3 fingers on my hand, I can count on I can count on that hand how many of my homeboys had their father in their life. And like he said, he was quiet. His daddy was scary as a kid. Okay. I don't know. I'm gonna share my perspective. His daddy was scary. All right. Like, I mean, like, so if his daddy didn't speak a lot, like what Ken was saying, but his daddy spoke, it was like, yes, sir. But I recognize he always worked. He worked. Okay. That's something I say. It was not like he worked, he chilled. When he sleep, you leave him alone. He go have it on the golf channel, and you go think he sleep. He was sleep. But you try to change that channel or do something, hey, he gonna wake up immediately. But being a kid down the street, and seeing that, it meant a lot. And older I became, man, me and him, me and G-Jack been cool, but older, like high school, I started realizing, Mr. Daddy G-Jack was cool too. Like when you see him in a public setting and people like, hey, what's going on? What's happening? When him up, he really that dude. Like he be knowing folks. Like he ain't that scary, but he just a real man that stepped up, stressed out. The job I knew he was working was crazy, but he was one of my role models as a man. So I just got to give him a quick nod. I got some more for him, but man, y'all got. I know KG, you had some folks. You had some folks to shout out.
So my pops was, I guess you can call him absent, but like, we knew who he was. He knew who we were type deal. Like, he wasn't like he was, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I am currently serving the same role my pops did because like, he lived in Chicago, we lived in Mississippi. So like when he can get to us, he came. When he couldn't, he did. So like I got my kids are in North Carolina, I got kids in Michigan. So like I'm doing that same thing. But like I want to make sure like every moment that I can get, I'm going. As far as like being home, as I've talked about on several occasions, man, like I can't lie. Like the village, having a village. So the deacons in the church, and like my oldest brother took us in, like we had our house burned down. Oldest brother took me and my younger brother in. He was 100% a father figure. Like there's no getting around it. Like I still do things and move in different ways because of what he taught me and what he showed me. Um, the head usher of the church, because I became an usher, Elba Taylor. He was, oh man, like he still reaches out every once in a while, hit me up. We still share information between each other. 2 people. So one of the deacons in the church, Mr. A.Z. Booker, was also my 4th grade teacher. and I'll share this because it's one of those things that life lesson kind of like, it was subtle, but it's something that still sticks with me. I used to throw, like, fat kid, I'm eating candy and I would throw the wrapper on the ground. I was killing a chew. like the little penny candy back when it was a penny, and I just tossing the candy on like paper on the ground, toss it on the ground, toss it on the ground. Mr. AZ Booker comes over and says, "Hey, come here. Close your eyes. Imagine everybody in town eating the candy like you just did and throwing the wrap on the ground. How the ground look." And now, and to this day, I still put candy wrappers in my pocket till I get to a trash can. Like, no BS. You can ask anybody or anybody who's been in a relationship with me and I had to do my laundry. Like, I have candy wrappers or trash in my pocket. I literally walked in here coming from the airport, throwing candy wrappers in the trash because that's something that stuck with me. Same thing with like Elbert Taylor, like, and Mr. Robert Gates is someone else. He was a church bus driver. I used to ride the van with him to help the elderly get on the van for the church van and stuff like that. These people were pivotal as father figures for me, and like they all encompass something different. And I can still see all of them in me to this day, and all the stuff that they taught me. So it's one of those things as we were sitting here and I was listening to you guys talk about. Like I was listening to Ken talk about having his daddy in the house, his dad at the crib. I thought that was super cool. And I remember being young enough to say that, damn, I wish my pops lived with us. But then I also got to a point where I was like, yo, I had so many fathers that I was like, oh, man. And I think about stuff like that a lot sometimes too, now, especially after becoming one. So, but yeah, like my oldest brother for sure, like B-Man, his name's Eric, call him B-Man. But, you know, somebody who came in, turned his complete life around, man. Like, went from the streets, he became a cop. He's a cop still. So, my older brother Tito is a person like the number one brother. My mom had 11 kids. Like the two oldest boys are two totally different people. Tito is a quiet guy, but he handles so much and does so much that people don't see. B-Man, it's not the fact that he's loud, but his actions are. So I think that, like I say, I had so many pops and so many fathers because I've looked at every last one of them and appreciated everything they've ever done for me.
Love it, man. Love it, man. Thank you. Taylor.
Well, I had an unusual journey when it came to father figures. My biological he was there. I knew him, and he did a great job at keeping me in touch with my other siblings in a different city. But I don't, he wasn't there like I would have wanted him to be. And eventually I started without even knowing, because I'm too young to understand why I'm doing it. But I had seeked out for other father figures for like discipline. You know what I mean? And that went from my grandfather, a great example, my basketball coaches. You know what I'm saying? Like my man said about dropping the rappers and stuff like that and getting corrected on it. And now it stays with him till this day, to where he'll have a pocket full of candy wrappers. Well, my basketball coaches disciplined me in a good way. It was all sports related, but at the same time, they taught me mental toughness. But I also got PTSD from it because anytime somebody scores a basket, I start clapping because in practice, if anybody made a layup or made a shot, and if we didn't clap, we had to run laps. So till this day, I could be at my son's basketball game, or I can go to one of y'all's son's game or daughter's game, and somebody make a shot and start clapping. I'll just start clapping automatically because I don't think I'm about to get in trouble. You know what I mean? You couldn't walk on our court in dress shoes. You know what I'm saying? It was only basketball shoes allowed on the court. I don't walk on people's grass. I was always told to walk around Don't walk on people's grass.
Hey, that's what got me my wife off. You feel me? But
yeah, and that came from my step pops, who basically raised me since I was 2 years old, and you'll learn more about that later on in the episode of why that's important to me. But like I said, outside of people that I was actually physically close to, half of my father knowledge or some of my traits came from the ones that was on TV. Fresh Prince of Bel Air, Family Matters, all that. I picking shows, even the Huxtables. I was picking and choosing some of those good traits. And the one thing that I noticed amongst all three of those cats and more is that they held down their household. I saw how they treated their wives. I saw how they raised their kids. And I was picking certain traits from them. And that's what I had to learn, because even some of the positive influences that I was getting from the people that I could actually touch, they had their own flaws. You know what I mean? And I knew I couldn't take everything from them. Like I got my manners from one side. I got mental toughness from another side. So I got traits and special abilities to raise a kid from paying attention to different figures of my life, whether it was in real life or on TV.
man, look, hey, straight up, I like you said, them special abilities and special powers, because I believe in that. And once again, certain mannerisms, it help us to be the men and the fathers we are today. But man, we have a newcomer. We have a new entry in right now. You right on time, my brother. My man AJ. Once again, one of the founders of Everythang Culture. Um, the question we have right now, man, we just chopping it up. Um, who, did you have any father figures, your father, any other men in your life that, or whoever made an example to the father you are right now? You got anybody you want to mention, as well as, since you just joined us, what does your camp look like? How many kids you got and the ages?
Yeah, so man, I got two kids. Uh Son came first, he's 8, and I got a daughter. She came shortly after, and she's 6. But as far as like father figures and stuff, I don't necessarily I don't really just have anybody. I just had somebody I could just lean on. My dad was around, but he's always kind of just been his own person per se. You know what I mean? Like, hey, it's I'm gonna get mine, you better get yours, type of person. And so um if I could say I probably looked up to my grandfather quite a bit. If I could say, he necessarily wasn't a father figure, but he was a big influence on me. We'll say that, as far as just right and wrong, kind of teaching me the ways of life and those kind of things like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. And,
Yeah.
once again, we just not getting into it. So sliding in, I'm gonna have you lead with this next question we have right here. Um, so far, what has fatherhood, when you became a father, what did that feel like? What was that emotion? What was that thought? You know, I want to leave. What was the emotion? When you find out you were about to become a father, and when they're actually here, and let's say, what are your emotions now too?
For me, the first thought, it was scary. It was like, man, it was a little bit of excitement, but it was more fear than excitement for me, at least, for my first child, because it was just the unknown, and it's no instruction booklet to this whole fatherhood thing. So it's like, and you got a lot of people that's talking to you, giving their opinion on it, but everybody has their own way. And so man, I was excited, but I was a little fearful. But as it got closer, I got a little bit more settled. And more accepting of what was going on and what was about to happen, and knowing that my life was changing. I think that was a part of it too. I needed to just grasp it and accept what was going on. Not saying that I didn't want to have a son or a child or anything. It was just more so understanding that my role was about to change as far as who I was and who I needed to be a role model for the next person. But once my first child got here, man, uh it was big joy for me, big time. It was like it was man, it's just something I can't really explain. I mean, it's just an incredible feeling, man. Was like, wow, this is me. Like, you know what I mean? Something that came from me, and was emotional from a standpoint of just me and my wife, but outside family members and all that kind of stuff. And speaking of fathers and stuff like that, that was a opportunity I felt like, for at least for me and my dad, to kind of mend our relationship, but it didn't work out quite like that. But like, because I mean, we all still carrying the same name, so all of that rolled into one. It was a lot. It was super emotional, but man, I definitely a blessing all and at the same token.
Already, man, already. Look,
Yeah.
go ahead. Y'all about to make me switch the questions up in a second. And once again, anybody can chime in too, man. I love to hear from y'all.
Yeah.
Son, I was 20. I was excited. I was ready. I'm like, oh yeah, I got my son. Hell yeah, I'm 20 years old. My first one is a boy. Oh, we finna act crazy. He's my son. 5 years later, I have my daughter. I'm scared to death because I'm in the same position that I was 5 years ago. There was no progression. I'm still doing the same dumb shit I was doing before when I had my son. When I was like, I'm still paycheck to paycheck, and if I need to go do, a little street action, I'm like, damn. Like, I cried because I got in my truck. I was like, yo, like, I was comfortable. I was so comfortable for the 5 years when it was just me, my girl, and my son. You know what I'm saying? Now I got a whole nother one here. So what am I gonna do now? I can't because this ain't gonna work. The It was the fear. I was scared to death because I was like, now I have. What are you gonna do now? And because all I know is what my father did. My father was a work all day, every day, no days off. Never seen my pop take a break. Never seen nothing. So now I'm thinking in my mind, I have to be that. I gotta start working. So I started, day working myself to death, like working, just going crazy. Cause I'm like, this is what I seen him do to take care of us. And from that, I burned myself up by the time I was 35, 36 years old. Mentally, physically, because the relationship started dwindling. Because I would work 80 hours a week, thinking this is what I have to do. My daughter changed my life for what I thought was for the better. And it was for the better for them, but not so much for me. I didn't know how I was basing off what I see my father do, work all day every day. Um, it became very draining, very very draining. I didn't know who I was. All I knew was work and take care of family. But that was coming from my daughter. Um, but how fatherhood is now? Was that the other question, bro? From that, like how
Yeah,
it
how
is
you feeling
now?
now? What's the emotions with it now?
It's it,
'Cause you on the other end of it, essentially.
yeah,
But when I
because
say you're
I
not
am.
on the
No,
full other
no.
end, because you in the adult side, like Baylor was talking
But
about.
all my kids are grown. Basically, my daughter just graduated high school, so basically, um, it's an incredible journey from where I was with them because of how I was raised. Um, because I had a lot of growing up to do myself. Um, how to communicate, how to have effective communication, trying to teach them that. I had a lot of growing to do for myself. I'm a hood dude. I don't, that was my mindset. Like, we don't get it, but I'm like, I can't be that because my father, he was there, right? He was there. My father supported. I never went they hungry. But that was the extent of my support for my child. My pops didn't come to football games. Pops didn't. If he asked me was I all right, that was it. I would have to come to him, and then sometimes me knowing that I'm the oldest brother of the three, I know that he's super tired. I know he's sleeping. My mom would say, "Did your father know? I know he worked all day." You know what I'm saying? Because he did. So I didn't. So I'm like, I don't know how to communicate. So I'm just boom, but I get it though. So they started to become me. And then all of a sudden I was like, man, I gotta. And my son started picking up my habits and my traits. And I don't want to talk to us because he didn't know when he could, when was it safe to talk because he would start doing. But Dad, I didn't want to bother you because I know you're tired. I know you're sleepy. You would do. I would come to go to sleep. So, um, but now it's like I make sure that I communicate with them because I had to learn myself how to have effective communication the older I get. And I try to give them examples because I used to have my same father's mentality. Why can't I do this because I said so? You know, I don't know if y'all might have heard that before, but that's how I was raised. I said so. There was no explanation. So that's how I was at the first beginning and a half of the year of life until I stopped doing it because I was like, well, I had my uncle. So I digress. At the beginning of my life, my father was all I knew was my father. So I say I didn't have role models, but I did have people I learned from the older I got, 35, 36 years old. So I did have role models and uncles. My uncle hit me with this example. This is when I started trying to learn how to communicate better. He was like, you tell a kid, don't throw the ball in the house. And he said, why not? Why you can't play ball in the house? Because I said so. And then you walk away. Then they break something. Then, boom. But if you use that same thing, like, hey, don't throw the ball in my house. Well, why not? Because there's a possibility you can break something in this house that I've worked hard for. And I put my time and effort to earn this. And then if the kids still decide to do it, then at least they have a different perspective of like why not to do this. That's the same principle you can use in life. If you give people reasoning for why they can't, if your kids raised to think that it's okay if somebody just tell you how something should be because they said so, that's how they're gonna be raised. But why you treat me like this because I can? You're not demanding no type of explanation because they're gonna think, wow, because you said so. But when you open up that space to this is why you can't do something, because this is the effect after that. You're giving them up to have different perspectives, giving them an option to choose right from wrong. You just tell them don't do it, and then when they do it, you punish them. Now, if you give them the reason as to why you didn't do it, and then they still done it, then you have to show, okay, now your actions has repercussions because you knew this was a possibility. He said, Ken, you have to give people the options to make their own choices, even your children. You have to let them know that you can't just I said not to do it because they can't. It's gonna be hard for them to learn that way. It's gonna be hard for them to grow. And so when they get older and they're in a relationship with somebody and they're gonna think it's okay for them not to have to explain why they feel a certain way or why something for them is not allowed. But if you tell somebody you cannot treat me like this because if you treat me like this could be the effects of it. This could break my heart if you treat me this way. Then they have to write. They know this is how it's raised. This is the after effects. This is the after effects if something you treat me like this. But if they don't know that, they don't know it's not okay, or they don't know they can explain something. So as he told me that, I was like, wow, I started crying like, because he originally said this because he heard me tell my son, Daddy, can I go something with my friend? I was like, no, because I said so. Quit asking me why. He just looked at me, was like, man. And ever since then, boom, everything I asked him, I tell him is it has to be an explanation behind it. And he was like, that's a self thing with you. That's not has nothing to do with your kids. That's you wanted to show your dominance with children. That's why I
Control.
said so. When they get 15, 16 years old, and the man says something to your daughter, and he says because I said so, or they don't want to give an explanation, she gonna think that's okay because you told her she couldn't do something because you said so.
I agree with that. I agree with that like 80%. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I agree with you do need to let your kids, you can't just say because I said so every time. They do need to learn to be able to express themselves, and you got to be able to express yourself. That's how you can build a relationship with them. But sometimes the kids will back you into a corner with that question, but why? When you give them the why, then that's when they will say, well, you telling me why, but such and such does it, or this and it. It's going to start a back and forth conversation and argument, and then just go end up nowhere. That's just from my experience.
I've tried that, and my daughter used to do that. My daughter's combative, very much so, right? You know what I'm saying? So my daughter would be the only one to questions. She was the only one. She was the only wild kid. My son, by this time, he just didn't care. He just kind of knew my daughter was the habitual line pusher.
Yeah.
Why? So I'm like, well, listen, because there will still be consequences from her actions after she done it. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, so it wouldn't be a surprise. Like, well, baby, if you do this, this could possibly happen. That's why I'm saying you can't do it, but you have a decision to make. I wouldn't say like but why? Because like we said, it'd be, but why this? It would be like, why? This is why I feel this way. This is why I feel like that you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't make that decision. Now, if you make it and it don't go the way you think, there could be some harsh repercussions from behind it. But give them a choice. Now, if it's something that you have to firmly, now you can't go rob a bank. The fuck, like like I mean, come on, like if it's something that I know is gonna be detrimental to you, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm going. Then you gotta. But if it's something that that it can have some consequences, and the consequence, what I'm saying is basically like something that I know that why can I go? Something like that. This could be this friend just got in trouble. But an example, she wanted to go out with a friend who just last week got into a group fight. There's girls looking for her. Why do you want to go hang out with her?
Yeah.
But why can I go? Why would you want to go? Like, let's have this communication now. Why would you want to go? And there's people out there looking for you. You have no care for life. You have no life. Well, everybody's going. So if everybody gets jumped and something happens to them, you want to be in that? I had to put my foot down. But at the same time, you're not going.
Hey, we just had that conversation before we started that, didn't we?
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going. But I still want to know why. And I'm gonna give you my explanation as to why I don't think it's smart. This is a stupid decision.
I don't think people get slapped, and they was just for being in proximity. They didn't even know the girl. They were just close, and they got beat up.
This one, like, why would you? So that's how I feel like. So my father didn't give us that opportunity. My father was a straight cousin, I said. So we just left it at that. So I started to do that with my relationships. Like, I didn't know nobody in my relation because we just felt. And that's the matter. I had an uncle who, when my uncle told me that, he changed the trajectory of how I started thinking. And this was me like at 35. So as you said, Taylor, like, and you said too, Jackson. Well, I don't know when y'all said, but it do take a community. It does take a community because
KG,
because the other, like, if it wasn't for him, I might have still been stuck in certain ways that I wish. He gave me a book to read.
Let me ask you a question. This may be a little off topic, but how is you and your father's relationship now?
Hey, what's going on? It's your host, Drake, B Drake with Everythang Culture. Just want to butt in real quick and ask for y'all support. Now, y'all know I greatly appreciate all the love that you're showing listening to the show, but I have to ask, could y'all please leave us a review? And if you don't know how to leave a review, don't worry, I got you. You can go to Apple Podcasts, find Everythang Culture. Make sure to click on the name of the show. Scroll down to where you see ratings and reviews. Please hit that 5 stars or just leave your honest opinion. Then right under that, you can drop us a review. Leave a subject line, the catchier, the better, and just tell us how you feel. That goes a long way with supporting us. But let's say you don't have an iPhone. What should you do then? We got you with that too. You can go right over to Spotify, find Everythang Culture again, and you just want to hit on the ellipses at the top right, and it will pop up where you can rate the show. They see, there you go. There you have it. Now make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and anywhere else you may listen to Everythang Culture. We greatly appreciate your support. We love y'all, and let's get back to the conversation. Let's get back to the show. Peace.
My best friend.
Really?
Because when I go back and tell him these things, he always say, "Man, I wish I would have tried that." He said, "But son," he always said, "But I didn't know that," and I feel like I'm obligated as him as a grandfather because he has the same resources I have, but he's not going to use it. He's not going to get on the internet and find stuff. He's not going to go read books. He's not going to be on apps and certain social medias and you learn. He's not going to be on podcasts talking to beautiful black men. You know, he. So I feel like I'm obligated because of what he's done in my life. Hey, pops, guess what I learned today on how to communicate? There was one of these brothers that was on the podcast with that said this in this way, and with the prime example, it takes a village. I did have a village, but I'm so stuck to thinking that my father did not raise. He raised me as a child to become a man, but as a man, I still had a lot of growing to do. So I did have a village, and I didn't think about that until one of y'all just said it. I don't remember who said it. So now, so this conversation, I'm gonna take it back to him and let him know because he knows I'm doing this. And I'm gonna say, so what did you learn, son?
Make sure to share the episode with them. You know.
I am. Yeah, I am.
And thank y'all for listening
He gonna tell my damn business.
Hey, thank y'all for listening to the Father's Day special 2024 with Everything Culture. We got my brother Big Ken, we got Baylor the Great, we got G Jack, we got KG, we got my guy AJ. We got some of the founders of Everything Culture here, and some more brothers that continue to support us along the way. Whew. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna shift gears a little bit. Y'all know what's the main thing I hate talking about on the pod?
Hey, before you shift gears, I want to bring up something with from what Ken said.
Come on.
Because I was like that too. I'll share a story that I had with my 13-year-old. I told her, I said, hey, I said, loyalty, respect, and trust. What do they all have in common? You got to earn them. And the way that you earn them is you got to give some of it so that you can earn with other people. The example was we have a teen center. So she went to the teen center after school. She wanted to go to the park with all her friends. And I told her, I said, if you can give me a solid reason to go to that park, I'll let you go. She's like, I just want to hang out with my friends. I said, well, you can do that at the teen center. I said, because grown-ups, with men, what happens when there's no adult supervision around with a bunch of teenagers?
Mm-hmm.
Old generation, nothing. So, and then she said, so what would have been an acceptable reason? I told her, loyalty, trust, and respect. You want to gain my trust in an effort to go. I can trust you and not trust any of them. And that's what the thing is. I trust you to do what's right, but I don't trust any of them. And when you have an entire crowd like that, how do we earn trust? I have to develop trust with them in an effort for me to trust that they're going to do right by you. And my daughter, she talks to me about stuff that happens at the school and stuff, the little messy stuff like, these guys were dating and then she hooked up. And so we have those conversations. And none of it sounds like people that I want her around. I can't affect the school and stuff like that. But if they sounded like this, I don't want you to go anywhere with them. They sound messy that I can't trust that. So, but we talked about it. And then having the conversation of developing trust and developing respect and things of that nature. And I let her go. Took one time. She said she don't want to go no more. She was like, yeah, it was not it. But I told her, I said, hey, I'm glad you had that experience. And I'm glad you learned from it because with my son, my favorite question is, what did we learn? There's a lesson in it all. We got to figure out what the lesson is. So what did we learn? And in those moments, I don't remember having the same feelings and thoughts that my kid, like I had as a kid. I don't remember those things. Like my mom would say, what did we learn? She would be like, see, I told you. Or we had those moments when she was just like, you see, just listen to me and you wouldn't have went through this. So as Ken talked about it, and we talked about communication and like being able to give the why. I definitely see that sometimes I don't know how to do that. And I'm developing and learning my communication skills on being able to do that because I remember being told, because we ain't doing it, and we ain't know. So as I've grown as a father, I see myself more now. Like, hey, what do we learn? Like having those conversations of, hey, what did we learn in this situation? Like, what did we get out of it? Because then we don't always get things out of it.
One thing when I talk to my mentees, and it made me proud when he repeated it back to me without even saying nothing to him. I guess I done said it so many times and then finally caught on. But I said it's three type of people in this world. The people that learn from others' mistakes, learn from your own mistakes, and the one that don't learn at all. Don't be that third one. Okay. And he hit me with some cold game one day. He was like, he wanted to do something. He forgot what he said he wanted to do. And I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea. He said, but I never seen you do it or anybody else do it. So I got to learn on my own on this. I like, real nigga.
Right.
I respect it. Hey, Gay, I respect it. Hey, and I said, I'll be here when you bump. If you bump your head, I'm gonna be here for you. Okay, that's the biggest thing. I think a lot of us don't. A lot of us, thankfully, if you had that safety net, but some of us grew up and you're not having that safety net as a father. But then father figures or somebody, your mother, auntie, uncle, somebody, that was able to catch us in those good times, man. But
so many people grow up with a father figure that's just a piece of shit that ain't
mm,
doing shit. That just, you know what I'm
mm,
saying? Like the
ooh,
father figure's still a kid mentally in their
ooh,
head.
ooh. See, you hitting
Y'all
on
really
something
the same
different.
age.
And I've seen that too. I've
What you
seen
say,
that too.
Drake? This motherfucker spit.
Yeah, man. Hey, and listen. Like, man, I was gonna say this a lot, but like, I know I don't have the best relationship with my father. You feel me? I didn't. Me and my father didn't talk for almost 12 to 15 years. Like, no contact. Like, he could be in the next room over. Won't see each other. Won't like, and we'll know we're in the same house, but we won't make any type of attempt to contact each other. And because it was one of the things that I was that kid, that waiting for their father. My parents didn't have the best relationship, and we're gonna come to that in a second. But it was one of those things where I like, man, hear my mama, talking bad about my daddy, this, and that. And I used to be a daddy's boy. I like, hey, you gotta chill out. Oh, you look just like him. But y'all do look just like him. I'll be walking by the mirror sometime, like, damn. But case in point, it was to a point in life where I started seeing some things that like, hey man, you could have stepped up on certain ways, man. Like you can't keep throwing my money. It's to that point that you got to step up. I wouldn't do this, when I hit them teenage years, that's on you, G. And it took for me talking to one of my partners here, right, on his brother one day, and I was like, man, that brother, he's really affected by how his father treated him. You know what I mean? And it was one of those things like I hit up G Jack. I had talked to my wife. I like, do I sound like that? They're like, sometimes it's like, I don't know. AJ, you remember that event? Yeah, he's trying to work that camera. You know how old folks be doing. But like to turn the camera off, everything.
Yeah, my bad. That's exactly what I was trying to do. I was trying to find a mute. I was like, man, where the mute? Just tap the screen, boo.
Man, but yeah, after it was one of his baby showers, I was able to meet, because his brother was like hot, and I just, me trying to be, y'all know me, I just asked a question, how the last time you talked to Pops, and he was like, he went off, okay, like went off, and I was like, whoa, and unfortunately, the caseworker in me kind of asked another question that he kept going, and I'm like, this brother needs some therapy, but I had to do some self reflection on that too, and unfortunately, I ain't gonna say unfortunately, I prayed about it. And God was like, hey man, I like, if I want to make it to heaven, I can't base it's on my heart, not his heart, you know. So I just, hey, said, Chop, how you been? Chopped it up with him. So we talk like, I probably hit him up this weekend. We talk like once a year. Okay. I can tell like last time I talked to him, I like, man, he done had a stroke. Do y'all know that? I'm like, they're like, yeah, he don't share a lot of his medical history, but I do see a lot of me in him. Because when I was younger, I did have a lot of influence from my dad. I wanted to be like him. I know I'm cock strong just like him, you know? And it's just one of those things where I wish we could have had a better relationship. You know, I wish we could be like have some type of contact. You know, I wish we could have been there. But I hate that responsibility had to, I don't think we'll even be speaking to each other if I didn't take that step up to reach out to him. You know what I mean? And
I think
go
some
ahead.
old people be stubborn though, brother. I think they have intentions on
You
wanting to do
think
the thing, they fighting it in their head, but they just stubborn as fuck, man.
it,
I don't know what it is.
it's something
It
about
just,
them brothers that were born in the 60s, raised in the 70s,
yeah,
you know, or being I don't know what happened in the 70s, but a lot happened in the 70s. You know, that's all I got to say. You know, because they even see some things, and I'm like, man, why you acting that way, bruh?
yeah.
And kind of like, but before I get on this, I want to see what's the main thing I hate talking about on Everything Culture.
Relationships.
Ding, ding, ding. And guess what, y'all? this is going to touch on it this time. Do you believe having a positive relationship with the mother that goes from marriage, dating, or this conversation affects fatherhood?
Yep,
No doubt.
definitely.
No doubt.
Especially
Yep.
if you have a bad relationship with the mother, it's kind of like anything bad. Like if you work a horrible job that you forced to go to every day, you go think negative about it. Every time you think about it, it just go piss you off. You know, and I think you can't help but that's gonna trickle down to the kids, no matter what. I don't know if any of y'all on child support or not, but at one point I was on child support. I was paying for nothing, and my kids stayed with me. But I had to get over that. You know, I had to get over it, make amends with the mom, and we good now.
I'll say, oh, he ain't lying about that, y'all.
So I was Usher, right? Like confessions, like straight up and down. Like my kids are 30 days apart. My daughter, my son was March 20th, 21st. My daughter was April 20th. I'm not gonna lie to you, like so I'm currently sitting in my daughter's mom's apartment. Like we just talked about this. Like we are at a point where we can communicate and effectively co-parent and do what's best for my daughter. Uh, she's 8. Imagine like how great things could have been, or how we would have been doing things as far as like if we were mature from the get, right? The 13-year-old and my son, we were all living together in California, and the relationship wasn't the best. But like the kids, I was doing everything. Like he said, I'm still paying child support. He's living in the same roof, but like woke him up in the morning, got him ready for school, to school, picked him up from school, cooked dinner as soon as I got to the crib. And mom was kind of like, she just checked out. She just checked out. And the kids started clinging to me because like I was everything to them. And I saw her response to it. And I checked out with her. I checked out like she did. Just the difference was I checked out for her. And like the kids would try to include her and stuff, and she would still have an attitude about it. And I think what annoyed me was the fact that I had just read I don't know if it was an article or it was a video or something about they were like, hey, the number one way to figure out if a child is going to be successful or not depends on their mother's happiness. Like it's a they scientifically studied men and children, and basically, if the mom's happy, then the kids are great. If the mom's not happy, then the kids aren't great. And I would do my homework. I would do homework with my kids, and he was just struggling. And then like one day I asked him, "Hey, you all right? Like they want you to be doing this." I'm tired. I don't feel like doing it. I'm like, okay, so I take the kids and just go. I didn't have a conversation with her. We didn't communicate well. I did it all, and I didn't mind it. Whereas some people would have been like, "Man, you shouldn't have to deal with that." I said, "I'm not gonna be upset at her because she did it by herself for a while. So if she had to check out, she checked out. But one monkey don't stop no show. Like these kids still got to get their education. They still got to do this. They still got to do that." Daughter got on the honor roll. 13-year-old got on the honor roll. My son, teacher won't stop talking about him. They ain't even in school right now. She posts about him all the time. How he's her favorite. The whole school loved him. So I don't know if I could believe that, like, you know what I'm saying, like that how moms having these things. I think is the kids just have to have somebody focus on them. And if they have someone focusing on them, make sure that they're good, whether it be the mother or the father. I think that as long as they have support and they can clearly see and feel the support, they're gonna be great. That's my opinion. Though.
Appreciate it. And just give some clarity to everything. You have custody of your kids, right? Or one of them, I think. Oh.
For those that don't know, I'm in the military. So like for me to have full custody of my kids, like I'm about to go back overseas at the end of the year on a ship in the Middle East. Like I would love to do that thing where people be like, "Yeah, just take custody of the kids," but Uncle Sam calls, somebody got to answer, and after raising my right hand and telling them, unless something is physically wrong with my kids' mothers or they can't actually do anything, I can't hold sole custody or anything of that nature. But I've never had either of them. I mean, my son's mom like once or twice, reverse psychology style thing, like, "Oh, we got all these things to do, so you can't take them." But for the most part, like, they don't deny me access to my kids. Though. So, like right now, the daddy daughter trip, like we do one like once every 2 years. We did one last year, but we added the other kids. This time it's just us two. So
That's cool, man. That's pretty good idea too, man.
yeah. So the first time we did it, we just I was stationed in Virginia. We just did a circle, dipped down. We went to the aquarium in Georgia because they got the largest aquarium in the United States. Went through. I showed the people that I developed relationships with that aren't family but are important to me. She got to hang out with my family. We're gonna do that again. This time we're gonna. I asked her what she wanted to do. She said she wanted to go fishing and she wanted to go to a water park. We're gonna do those two things for sure. And then we're just gonna add other stuff onto it. I took both my kids on a cruise, and they were small, so people were like, "They're not gonna remember that. They're not gonna want that." They still talk about that trip. They still talk about it. So I told her, I said, "Hey, my next trip is my last trip," and she the one that made that decision. She said, "Hey, when do you leave? When do you come back and you never leave again?" I said, "Baby, give me 2 years. That's all I'm asking." She said, "Cool." I told her, "Hey, after that, we can either drive the whole United States because Eddie ain't got no job no more, or we can, or we can just take another cruise." She said she gonna think about it, but whatever she said we gonna do, that's what we gonna do.
Beautiful, man.
I ain't gonna lie, she makes more rules than the son does. She gets more leeway. My son, I give him some leeway, but like when I ask her something, she made decisions, and she makes them quick too. Like she was like, "Yeah, we gonna go do this tomorrow." So, yeah.
Man, thank you. I want to hear from my guy. Ronald Bailey the Great, because hey, he just put out a dope episode maybe last week. Y'all got to go check that one out. Check them all out, man. With that one right there, the snow bunny from that try to set talking about relationships, try to get set up. Oh man, would you like to share?
Share that story?
No. They got to listen. They gonna have to listen. That they got to go get you some listens over there for that story. We want to talk about, your fatherhood and your relationships with the mothers, and does that matter when raising children? How
It's
impactful
important.
is it?
It's important. I know you fellas, have y'all ever moved to another house by yourself? Like with no help?
No.
You know how stressful that is? When you got to move the refrigerator, the stove, the dresser, the bed frames, when you got to do all that stuff by yourself.
Amen, bro.
Doesn't it seem a little bit easier to have somebody help you?
Mhm.
So in any relationship, not just, I mean, I know we're talking about the dynamics between you and your baby mom or your ex, whatever the case may be. But in any scenario, having another hand there physically and mentally will always help. To be on good terms with anybody in your life is always dope. I think that's the most important one because you have a child involved. And at the end of the day, if I can go back to the second question, how do I feel about childhood then versus now? If I knew the importance of sacrifice back then I will probably be in a better position now. But getting that, when we get to a question later on, is going to all tie into that because you're going to have issues with the people that you lay in bed with. That's just how it is. People come from different walks of life. People are raised different. You don't know the dynamics of their relationship with their parents and the trauma that they went through. And sometimes we don't learn how to deal with our emotions, how to hold ourselves accountable until we are late 30s, early 40s. You know what I mean? We start learning life in a different way. We're more patient. Life slows down for us. The small things mean a lot more than the bigger things that we used to like. And I say that because if we were on the same page, if me and my ex was on the same page, you have a better chance of raising better children and releasing them to the world. You know what I mean? Not only that, I got to live with the fact, side note, it's going to kind of gel into this, but Wolverine is one of my favorite characters from X-Men. You know what I mean? But he also has one of the worst lives to live because he witnessed everybody in his life pass away. He has to deal with so much pain from the memories that he got, right? And I can kind of understand that because there's going to be accomplishments, goals that half of my kids are going to be getting and was a part of that I don't have memories of. And I got to live with that for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? And that's because of having differences with my ex. You know what I mean? And when I say I'm cool with it, it's not that I'm cool with the journey or with that particular situation. I'm cool because I helped make that bed. You know what I mean? I probably wasn't wise enough or smart enough to redirect certain things that was said, certain actions, whatever the case may be at that time, because I was young minded and I didn't have that guidance. But now when I look back at it, when I look back at it, I know how important it is to be on good terms with your ex. And it's just again, we always say it and it sounds so cliche, but it is for the kids. Because as you get older, you never stop being a parent. You never stop being a parent. And you have to continue to be a parent when they become parents. You know what I mean? And whatever you I forgot which maybe it was Big Ken that said it about his dad where it's like I wish I would have done that, but I never knew. And when you don't know something, you can't teach something. You fast forward to the future, you do learn, and you're like, damn, you kind of feel like a bit of regret. Like, dang, I wish I could have taught this I wish I would have been this sharp. I wish I would have said this, that, and the third. But it is a team. Even if you're no longer part of that organization, you still have to raise those kids at the end of the day. And it's a tough thing because you got to hold yourself accountable. You got to hope the other person hold themselves accountable. And the main thing is you got to sacrifice. And you never know how important that sacrifice is when you're that young. You just never know until you get to a point where you feel it makes you feel good when you sacrifice your time. You know what I mean? You don't have to necessarily sacrifice your dreams because you don't actually, some of us don't know what God got in store for us. And you could be chasing after something that he like, no. That's not really for you. You good in that department, but this is what I need you to do. You know what I mean? And it's a tough journey, man. I can't complain about it. You know what I mean? All I can say is you live and you learn. And when you do learn the things that you do learn, you must teach it. You have to teach it. It'd be selfish for you to keep the information that you learn from kids, not even just your kids, to all kids. Because I tell my son on a serious note, but I say it in a joking way. The way I'm raising you now is so later on, you don't have a tell-all book lying about me. You're not going to lie about me to the public people. I'm telling you right now, this is why I talk to you like this way. This is why I'm telling you do this and don't do that. This is why I'm asking you to do this. And I'm asking you not to do that. You know what I mean? Because when you get into your mid-20s, late 20s, early 30s, mid-30s, 40s, don't go outside talking about I was never told this and I was never told that. No, I told you, bro. I told you because I'm not a selfish person. So I know if I don't tell you this information, I swear you don't want to get to where I'm at. You don't want to go down the same journey that I went through because I made it and it was rough, bro. And you're not built like that. I know you're not built like that because I know, hey, tough man will create soft times because we didn't seen everything, and we want to make sure we keep our kids away from that. But that's part of the problem too, because if you raise them too soft, they're gonna create some tough times. You know what I mean? So again, if I wish I knew about that sacrifice and how important it was, Big Ken said it. But one thing that I was waiting for was the balance because Big Ken was like, man, I'm going to work, bro. My daughter's born, I'm going to work. Work home. You're gonna kill yourself. You got to balance that out. But it clicked in his head how important it is. He knew once that daughter came, all right, I got to sacrifice even more. You know what I'm saying? I can't be a big pimping Ken no more on Saturdays in the parking lot with the trunk up. I can't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Now I just got to be Big Ken driving back. I see y'all. Save me a plate. Yeah. No, AJ, bring that to the house. I can't come over there. Right. I know she look good, but the Lord is my shepherd, and I got to get home, bro. You got to make that sacrifice. Big Ken is not outside no more like that. KG is cutting his grass. Why? Because some snakes is in there. And he telling his son, telling his daughter, I got to keep it low. I'm telling y'all right now, I keep my grass low. Y'all got to keep y'all grass low when y'all get older. You know what I'm saying? So, am I still on topic?
Hey, this boy speaking. You spitting, okay?
It's crazy the older you get. It's like when you're younger, you're like, I gotta get this money. Like I said, my daddy, he went to work all day, every day. Like you see him at nighttime or depending on what shift you're on, you see him early in the morning. But that's it.
Right.
And have y'all ever seen those cats that work all the time? They seem grumpy.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know, and they probably didn't know about that balance. That balance is important.
I think that's a new thing, man. Like
No,
with us
that's
black people, that just realizing that balance, like, hey, you ain't gotta work this to death, man.
Yeah.
It's easy ways out here. Like I realized, like you said, I think Ken said when he had his daughter that you need to have that balance and trying to pay more attention. I can tell you, mine probably came when my mom passed a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
It made me realize, man, life is short. Why am I sitting there working all the time, missing all this stuff with my kids and stuff? And I'm saying it's just like turned everything around. I actually quit my job and started working for myself. And that because I was like, man, I gotta spend more time with my kids. I gotta start doing more stuff at the school and end up getting volunteer of the year. Now I'm back working a regular job, but I don't take it as serious as I did before. Like I just go to work, go home. Whatever they ask me to do, I ain't doing no arguing. I'm like, look, I'm here. What you need me to do? I'm gonna get it done. And I'm going home. And
Hey, G Jack, when you got that award, did they take a picture of you?
yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
that's
see,
a dope thing to
that's
have.
a win for me. I'm showing that off at
Yeah, I'm
41.
I tried
If
to
I
tell him, man.
volunteer
They
of the year.
they
Oh yeah, you don't know that. That's a flex. Like yeah,
I
if I
tried to
get
tell him.
volunteer of the year,
I
I'm
got
putting that in my
volunteering. You know
passenger
what I'm
seat.
saying?
yeah, they had like a whole lunch and everything.
Hey, let me see ID. Oh no,
Yo,
my fault. That's my volunteer of the year award. My fault.
hey,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
So,
My fault.
fellas, brothers, you gotta stop doing that to yourselves, man. I say all the time, you out here doing something. I wouldn't be inviting y'all here to talk to y'all and listen to y'all, learn from y'all if you wasn't out here doing something. Okay. And same thing with these other people. You got to take your rewards and the recognition that you have, because you don't want to be like the former folks, before us, the fathers and the grandfathers. I could talk
Yeah.
about my grandfather, man. Man, I saw my grandfather go from a cane to a walker to a wheelchair into the bed while I was changing his diapers and his urine. But he worked. He kept that cash on him because he didn't want to pay taxes. But he kept that, he worked though. Okay. And seeing our people going through that and others, like, man, I see that, and like G-Jack, I'm always been big on valuing us. We have to take care of home. We have to take care of community, because a statement I would say: people don't care about people. People care about the use of people.
Yeah. That's true. Especially in Houston.
You
I
won that
know.
award, right?
Trust me being back in Texas, bro. I'm like, y'all are still on this same stuff 4 years later. Nah, because I want us to make sure we take care of one another. Because like, did getting caught in that rat race or keeping up with the Joneses or keeping up with the Kardashians, however you want to say it, but we forget about community. Like KG been saying since his makers of you, community, man. And we have to get back to that. So as being the man and being like, that's one thing I want to get on too. But AJ, I don't want to forget about you if you want to discuss a relationship question too. But my thing is being a leader. And I want to touch on that too, is being the leader, not only in your household, but in your community. But we'll come back to that, right? You got anything to add to the relationship, AJ? How important being in a relationship is to you, perhaps, or the impact of that?
I mean, it's it's critical in my opinion, man. And I think it ain't no thing. I know everybody got roles they got to play, man. And I'm old school when it come to that, man. And some women, man, they may not like it, but I don't really care. It's my house. I do what I want to do over here. But I mean, honestly, man, it's roles that got to be played, at least from my perspective, for the household to be ran smoothly. And what I mean, I know I can be demanding as a husband and as a father. I know I can be demanding because I can be difficult on myself, and I know I try to watch it because I can be pushy on my kids, like expecting them to know what I know when I'm not, and I had to learn that, hey man, you know what? Not only the relationship with my kids, with my wife too, I gotta be a little bit more patient, far as just knowing that, hey man, they don't may not see it the way I see it, may not understand it the way I understand it. I used to get boiling frustrated with, like, man, why this, why that? Like, damn, like, you don't see this, you don't understand that, and then not knowing that, hey, they not me and I'm not them. And so once I figured that out, things got a lot smoother for me. And even like I'm working on my relationship with my kids. I tell my kids all the time, and they halfway speak to me. They barely, yeah. Yeah, what you laughing at? You know it's true. You halfway speak.
And one walk by.
Nah,
Hey, they
man.
do. They run straight to mama, man. Don't say shit to you.
Right on time too. Right on cue. He was talking about it, and then you just see him walk behind his head.
Yeah. Don't say that. And so for me, I wanted to be. I don't want to be that dad where like y'all were talking about, like, man, hey, I barely get to talk to him. All I see is him coming and going. He provide for us, maybe on a financial standpoint. Hey, man, Christmas time, I got all the gifts under the tree. But actually, I want to be that dad that has a relationship with my kids and be able to connect with them outside of my daddy bought me this, or you know what I mean, on a financial, but more on a mental standpoint, because that's what I didn't have, and I'm not necessarily trying to replace what I didn't have, but I know I needed it from a male figure, not only the mental connection but the emotional connection, far as how to carry myself, and you know, it's a very true statement when you raised by a woman that sometimes, man, you react emotional like a woman, man. And not saying that I'm gonna be like screaming at the top of my lungs, but I may get. I have a tendency. I could see it sometimes where I'm like, damn, this is how my mom would think or how my mom would react to it. But like I said, I didn't necessarily have a father figure, and I had to kind of find an equal balance on and find myself too at the same time, and grow from it. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to make sure that I have that connection with my kids, man. That's why I always harp on them about, man, come talk to me, man. You ain't said nothing to me all day. You always looking for me to do this and do that, but come talk to me, man, and make sure we got that connection.
It's funny, man. I feel where you're coming from. My kids,
Yeah.
they mama's boys, man. Anything she says, she can't do no wrong. But I think I'm finally starting to get my middle son to get on my side, man.
Hey, I
So
got a question
I
for you
found a
guys,
bond.
man.
So I've been
Hey,
coaching
so
baseball, and so now he like if we starting to click, and now we play. I about to download a baseball game on the PlayStation. So now we both playing it, and he done started him a little franchise. So he was trying to tell me, man, Dad, look what happened on my team. Let me show you. I done made this trade. I learned this new trick on the game. So now we bonding on it. So now sometimes when mom be trying to be against me, he be on my side. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Gotta flip them like that. You gotta flip them like that
Yeah.
sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
hey, I got a
Well,
question for you guys, man. I know for me, right, my family, we wasn't big communicators in the household at all, but like we would love to just exist with each other. You know what I'm saying? And that's something
yeah.
that I noticed that with my kids, like we ain't gotta talk, but they'll come lay up under me just to be in my presence. Like I used to sit in the garage at the crib. My son will come open the back because I had a chair and a desk. He would come open the back of my little car and let's sit there with me. I wasn't watching TV. I could be working and he was just sitting there because he wanted to exist with me. And like, I don't know, that's one of the best feelings for me. Like when it's like that for me. Like they don't have to talk to me, but I know that they want to be in my presence.
Yeah.
And we'll play and tickle
They
here and there,
create
but like
childhood memories. That's how you create the memories because 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, they're going to be like, yeah, I used to just sneak into my dad's garage and just sit there and watch him do this, that, and the third. That's going to come right back around. Those are called memories, bro. That's what you got to get. If there's one thing that you got to take to the grave with you is those memories. You know what I mean? Because some of those memories, if not all of them, they keep you grounded. You know, and you're gonna want to make, yeah, yeah. I play video games with my daughter. I watch her cartoons. She watches my cartoons. There is a difference.
My daughter's
Yeah.
my daughter is like that. Like we have so many similarities. Like this Wu Tang. This is her Wu Tang. I stole it and put it in my office. This is her. She's 17 years old. This is her Wu
You don't know
Tang.
nothing about no Wu Tang.
Cool. My daughter can come
Hey,
in and
Wu
rap the
Tang is for
whole
the
triumph.
kids.
Like
My daughter
Creed.
can rap. My daughter can rap the whole triumph, and I
boy,
super damn jealous.
I hear on Hulu.
But everything she into the movie, so it's like the moments to where she's like, "Hey, yo, pop, like there's a show come on like called The Boys." She
Mm.
say,
Oh,
"Pops, she like, hey, pops, the 3 episodes came on. So we have so many similarities because we create those moments, and I don't take it for because sometimes she get in a moment to where she don't want to be bothered. But I respect it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you good, I'm all right. But when any moment she's like, you going upstairs? What's up, baby? You want to watch TV? You want to watch a movie or something? If you want, but boy, you got 3 episodes. You want to watch it together. And those moments, I cherish those moments. 'Cause me and my son, we grew up together. So it's like we played ball. I coached him on the football team. You know what I'm saying? Like all through high school, I was the assistant. Like so, we've always had that with him. But me and her, she's my daughter. As you know, I go to the room, she listen to turn up, so those moments with the kids, you gotta make the memories, man. Like
Hey,
you
it's
do something
nothing
like
like having a son. Phenomenal, because that's like my
yeah,
player. You try to
yeah,
do the best to shape him into who you are, but better.
but
But when
better.
you got a daughter that mimic the stuff you do, oh my, that's a
Listen,
cheat code. It's a cheat
listen, man.
code.
I love
When
it.
they like the
Love
same stuff you like, when they got the same mannerisms, my daughter is witty. And sometimes I gotta like catch myself because I'm like, who you talking to the person that taught you how to talk like that? You know what I
That's
mean? Like I taught you how to talk like that. You gonna be a
Yo,
monster in this world.
yo, I swear to you, like how the old joke be like, I ain't get fat yesterday. So when you try to make jokes about me, I'm ready to roast. My
Uh-huh.
daughter is on 10. Like her mama just got to telling me about like they had like shampoo and it looked like her hair was gray, and she was like, "This is what you gonna look like when you old." She looked back at her mama. You look like you're 46. Like, she ain't even 40 yet. You know what I'm saying? Daughter is old. She stay on 10.
Man,
Kids are good anyway, man. They don't care. They gonna hit you where where it hurt. Every time they got no filter, man.
so what has been some times that in KG touched on it? What has been some times that you've seen yourself and your children that you were like, I did that? Like like
Hey,
Baylor's
let me
saying.
tell hey, let me
My
tell
son.
you out the gate, we got this thing where it'd be something like we was in Hawaii last year, right? And we was on the beach, and this big old turtle just started crawling towards us. It came from the water, right? And so everybody is like circling around it. Marcy is telling Bailey not to touch the turtle and stuff like that. My son, you can hear my son say in the camera, I mean, on the video, you hear my son say, "Where did it come from?" And my daughter was like, "From the ocean, duh." and like, and it's like stuff like that. Like her comedic timing is A1. You know what I'm saying? When she was watching Martin and the Wayne's
Mhm.
brothers at 3 years old, and I don't know if she understood the jokes, but she would laugh when you were supposed to laugh. You know what I mean? So it from my daughter to my son, when my son started wearing certain type of socks, I like graphic socks just like I like graphic t-shirts. When he started doing that, I'm like, oh man, it's happening. It's happening. I'm the only at before my daughter was born, I was the only one eating malto meal at my house. All to myself. Love it. Don't judge me. My
Hey,
daughter,
dude, you was about to say you should probably sit on one. Well, go ahead.
nah, it's two of us. Because my daughter, oh man, the box belonged to her now. So I moved on to Special K. Now she eats Special K. Tazo T. It's only hers now. So it's like I can't bring nothing home. You know what I'm saying? I got the PS5. She got my PS4.
Look at that.
Now we don't play the same type of games, but she be interested. I got 2K. She's like, can I play the WNBA version? All right, cool. She don't really mess with the Madden. She see me playing wrestling. Can I play with the women wrestlers? All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you try to get them to take out the trash, clean up your room, wash your dishes, and it's like a whole tutorial you got to go through with them. But they pick up on some of the craziest things that you do without you telling them. You know what I mean? And that's a special thing about kids. They the ops though, bro. They run up on me, I fire them. All right, that's how we get down. Nerf gun fights. I'm still undefeated in that. Anybody can pull up. Bring your kids over to my house. We gonna ambush you. I promise you.
Hey, they do be having them. They be lit over there.
What's your address?
I'm not gonna give you my address right now, but you can. I'm gonna tell you. And look,
pull up on me.
We don't play fair because at least 3 or 4 times a year, I come home in the morning. I'm tired. They'll put my gun outside on the door with a note. It's time to lock in. But here's the cool part about it: they don't leave me no bullets. they'll give me one bullet. They'll give me one bullet, and on the note it'll be like survive. I'm like, and I know my daughter wrote it because it's missing a V.
Right now I'm working on my son. He's sweet dude. Like he just like me, coach. Sweet, do anything for somebody. But he's 22 and he's so emotionally unintelligent. When he does not know how to control his emotions. He doesn't get mad until his girl 3 weeks ago got into it with her grandfather. And he's mixed, but her grandfather's white. And the grandfather puts his hands on the door to tell her to get out. So my son is over there. Now, mind you, my son has never had internet. He's not oblivious to, being black and cops and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But he's been so sheltered because I've kept that. He doesn't know how dangerous that is. So he's mad. So when he gets mad, you can't control it. But that's me. He turns into the Hulk in the street. So he's over there, and don't you put your hands on my girl no more. The cops pull up. I'm trying to tell him to calm down over the phone. So I'm like, the cops get over there. The cops are trying to tell him to calm down, stuff like this. And I started crying. So I'm like, I gotta talk to my son because he's never been in those situations. These cops will kill you and don't. But I felt like that was the first time in my life with him that I felt like I failed because he had no decorum. He was so angry, so mad. He was like, I don't care. Don't touch me. Touch her. He's talking to these police officers like this. But that's because he's so emotionally unintelligent. And I'm like, he does not know. It doesn't matter how smart of a person you are. It doesn't matter what you know in school, what all books you've read. If you could not control your emotions, none of that shit matters. It does not matter because that is a different point of view. And I'm trying to like, man, like how do I? And then right now I'm still trying to teach him this because sweet dude is like he's sweet. He is yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am. We see lady at the door, he opens the door for him. But the moment something bothers him, I'm like, you gotta breathe, you gotta relax on that. And it's like instead I wish I could have done it earlier for him. But he's so much like me because at 40, I'm just now learning how to control it at 43. So it's like, because I know my perspective with things I looked at before, but now it's nowhere near the same because I'm like, I'm learning how to become emotionally intelligent. So my son is so much like me, and it's like it's the hardest thing in the world for me right now because it's not gonna happen overnight. Yeah. But it's like it's something I should have checked a long time ago because on the basketball and football field, if he missing the tackle, he throwing his helmet, bang. He mad. He missed the tackle. Well, he's still better than you. But but it's like, me on sense I coach football, so it's like instead of just telling them, no, you need to control your emotions. Like, you should be mad. You missed the tackle, but it's banging the ass, and it's a struggle because we had a conversation today, and he was upset about something, but he like just breathe. I'm trying to breathe, but and it's just like I don't know. I can't say I don't know what to do, but I'm in the space that's like, man, like I'm trying to learn how to control my shit, man. At best time. So how do I teach him?
Hey, to Big Ken's point though, like this goes back to the discipline part. When you say no, or because I said so, and you don't give them a reason why.
Man.
You know what I think the number one book or guideline to helping you raise kids, let them learn their Black history. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I say that is because we don't never think about what happened to Emmett Till affects us.
Dang.
When you have a kid and you say, hey, no, you got to give me a reason why you want to go to that park. You know what I mean? And the reason why you want that reason is because you didn't been to the parks.
Yeah.
Big Ken just said he had an incident where he could hear the police trying to calm down his son.
My son, like he got blessed.
The
By
relation.
a cop, a white
Hey,
cop.
the
Tell him to calm down.
relationship between a black man and the police has always been finicky.
Always.
You know what I mean? So when we say, nah, you need to calm down, you need to control your anger. But for what? Not because it can get you in trouble. But hey, man, look, this is your history right here. This is what happened to this little boy who wanted to go chill with his cousins in a different part of town. And his body was shipped back to his mom in a box. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to they need to know the history. Yes, it's not going to be appealing. It may not even be entertainment for them, but it's going to stick with them.
I was talking to one of my coworkers earlier, and she said she's taking her daughter next month to a plantation in Louisiana because they don't understand the history, the things that they've seen, the type of things that our people been through. Some of them have become oblivious to some of the struggles that they've had. And what y'all saying, know your history.
Know your history.
That's what we do with Everything Culture. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. That's what we do with Everything Culture, man. We want to make sure to educate folks.
At what age though would you do something like that? Like, do you think you need to be, or do y'all feel like you need to be mentally mature enough to handle that?
No, you want to know why? Because there's women that when they get pregnant, they continue to keep working out, going swimming and stuff like that. And the first thing that they say when their child ends up somewhat similar or just like them, oh, they was doing this when I was in the belly. You teach them immediately. You know what I'm saying? Because look, everybody else is learning their history. Everybody else know their culture.
But I mean, like as far as slavery and shit, like I don't want them to feel like a victim their whole life.
I mean,
but you got to tell the whole story of it.
I think there's ways you can teach, and I think you could feed them here and there. It's not like you got to throw the whole thing. Don't throw Kunta Kinte on them out the gate. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like taking them to a plantation. Like, what age do y'all feel they'd be mentally mature enough to handle something like that? Because that's deep. Going to a plantation.
So is it the lesson or the teacher? Because would you rather them go and have it taught to them directly from the source, or do you want them to get it from a book that's going to give them misinformation?
Yeah, and I was just about to say before I know we were talking about Greg, but Greg, welcome in once again. Hey, we already shared. What do your team look like? How many kids do you have? And what does it mean to you be a father? What's your meaning of a father?
Oh, I wrote it down. So my answer is gratitude for doing what we're supposed to do as men. So I feel like that is what Father's Day means to me. It's the gratitude of simply doing what I was supposed to do as a father to begin with. It's super simple. I had to write it down like 4 or 5 different ways in order to get like a definitive answer. But I just think like when I say gratitude, it isn't just, okay, I have to hear it. I have to be shown it. And it's 365 days, the same way we say with Mother's Day and any other holiday. Like, no, I just don't need, Father's Day itself. I want every day to be Father's Day because I'm giving my 100%. So I would want that every day, not just on a particular day.
Bingo.
How many kiddos you have?
I have one daughter. She'll be 4 in July. So,
all right, we got a good blend here. And
that was a beautiful statement. I love that to be touched every day. I truly believe that this is my belief, and the Bible says like we are made in His image. We're made in His image. Well, God loves to be praised. It doesn't mean that we don't. He knows that we love Him, but He still wants to hear it. He still wants to hear the praise music, the praise, because it's like if you give, that's why it's called home field advantage. It's not because they get paid, it's because they get that celebration when they're at home. They get they get to perform better. They perform better. That's why they put up 35 points versus when they're away. And then what's crazy is you get players like who played for the Lakers, Westbrook, who played better away because when he came home, they was blowing him. They was shunning them off. When we let him go somewhere else with the same team, he's scoring 30, 50 points. If you show that love and you show that support and you give and I hate that you do what you're supposed to do. And what? Does that mean we still not supposed to get gratification? We're not supposed to still get that thank you?
Yeah.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, Gregory. Wholeheartedly.
So I know, man, we didn't hit a lot of points. And like I say, we're gonna be here for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
It flies by, don't it? Okay.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. It's
So
11:30, 11:40.
I know. And because once again, we can always pick this back up. You know, we go live on Sundays, 7:30 Central Standard Time. And you know, we chop it up, and we love to have y'all. If not, you know, this Sunday, Father's Day, celebrate yourselves. You know, celebrate your people, celebrate y'all folks. How we, for what? Nothing. You know, this is the day, but all around want you to be celebrated as well. But if you want to jump on next Sunday, y'all are more than welcome. Okay, we'll be here. But I want to say, what is the best way to close out? What is the best way? Almost what Greg was touching on, almost to the point. What is the best way for you to be celebrated? How do you want to be recognized or appreciated, not only on Father's Day, but all over?
I'm kind of like Greg, man. Just show me appreciation every day. Like, we don't have to fight and argue all the time. Just do what I ask you to do, man. If I tell you to take out the trash, take out the trash. You know.
So listen to that. When
Just
we
listen,
say,
yeah,
because one
God
thing
dang.
I want to be clear, because we all said it to essentially at one point in our life, we're still learning how to communicate effectively. So once again, I had to learn myself. So when we say appreciate, what does appreciation look like to you as a father? What does that mean? Because as G-Jack said, hey, if I ask for something to be done, don't get me with the feedback. I know I can give you an explanation later, but right now, just do it.
Yeah. I'll say really quick. It's just like, to me, embracing what we want our kids to do, which is the golden rule. Like, treat others the way you want to be treated. I know I want to be treated nicely, so I want the person who is showing me that gratitude to also just like show me that. And I feel like we've gotten, and I know I'm a little bit late, but we got into the position where there are a lot of people, and I'm not just putting this on women, but men as well. Like, they don't show themselves enough grace to say, you know what, people do have flaws. Men do have flaws, but is he doing what he's supposed to do? Not for me, not for everybody else, but for that kid. That's the reason why he's a father. You're a portion of it, but he ultimately has to start telling you, as you know, well, not telling you, but showing you with those actions why he's a father. You made him a father, but he still is learning. It's an everyday thing. Life is nothing but learning. So you're learning not only, but to be a man, but you're learning to be a father as well. And it's going to happen not just for 18 years, not for 21 years. That's for the rest of their lives, because you ain't going to be here longer than them, hopefully. So again, just the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. So men and women alike, just do what you would expect from somebody on Father's Day. Treat them with grace, be courteous, and just ultimately just allow them to have a day. And a steak too. That'd be great. Medium, please.
Thank you for some stupid shit. I don't care if I'm taking out a bag of trash, and if you say I see you taking out that bag of trash, I'm gonna go around the house and pick up every piece of paper in this damn house. This trash too, baby. I'm gonna go this way too, because it's simple. It's simple. Like if you tell that man, baby, I see you taking out that trash, his goofy ass is gonna go around this house and pick up every piece of paper because you recognize something minuscule like that. If you could do something that simple, imagine what happens when you do something bigger. If you congratulate that man on something small as thank you for washing the dishes, baby. I know you was tired, but thank you for that. You might come on tomorrow, he might have dinner cooked just because that little bit of appreciation that you showed him has now put it in him, just like, you know what, I am doing something right. I am doing, regardless of, because we all gonna do what we, not everybody, but still all of them in here do what we're supposed to do because it's in us. It's in us to do what we're supposed to do. So regardless if you give it to me or not, I'm still going to do it. So why not just give me that little bit of, I see what you're doing over there. It's going to add a little fuel to that fire. That's all I like. Just give me a little bit of fuel to it, because I'm gonna do it regardless if you give it to me. Just give me a little push.
Yeah. And then don't piss me off either. You know what I mean? We got a scale. We can go from
Get on
either.
camera, man. We got to see the face, man.
Look, we got to go. We got a scale that goes from Care Bear to Michael Myers. Don't piss your mama off, and don't piss me off. Because if you piss your mama off, I don't get none tonight. And if I don't get none tonight, I'm mad, bro. I'm mad. Don't talk to me. I got an attitude. Pack your own lunch.
We in
Walk
trouble.
to school.
Y'all in trouble. They don't understand.
Yeah.
They're in trouble. We in trouble because we got to hear the shit that you did.
Yeah. If you mess up,
game.
If you mess up my fun time, yeah, it's over. That's why I said they the ops, bro. Get a job too while you at it. You don't want to take out the trash? Go to work then.
Hey, see, like Bailey got to get some stuff off his chest, right?
Yeah, no, I'm
I was just gonna say, hey, you okay, my brother?
No, because I'm not letting them hear this episode until after Sunday.
That happened today.
No, I talk to my kids. I talk to my kids like they're they're my kids, but also talk to them like they're my friends as well. Because the scariest thing and I speak for all of us in here, is knowing that one day you got to release your kids to the world. You know what I mean? That's the scariest thing. We will never. It's not a man on this Zoom right here that can say they don't stress every day, and they stress and don't even know it. They could be having the time of their life. I know. I ain't even met Big Pimpin' Ken, but I know he was outside. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a time where it's gonna be plenty of those times. There's gonna be a Saturday morning before those football games come on. It's gonna be a Wednesday night when you get off of work. It's gonna be a Monday morning when you don't want to go into work, and you thinking like, "Damn, one day I gotta let my kids go. I gotta let them go." And you gotta teach them. You got to teach them enough stuff, and you just got to hope and pray that the important stuff that they need, the survival tactics, the common sense, everything that you instill to them, you got to you just got to pray that they keep some of that with them.
It's the common sense part that don't be clicking. That's what
I know, but we do in their defense, old common sense will still carry you through this new world, but it is a new world. It is a new world.
I don't know if they got other kids. My son turned 21 and moved into his own apartment 3 weeks ago. He got in there. He called me. "You good?" "Yeah, I'm good. Son, go on in the house. Get out, get my face." You know, I'm like, bro, because I was scared. I'm like, bro, I'm like, "Did you check your windows? Did you lock the door?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." "Are you good?" "Yeah, I'm straight." "You good?" Like it freaked me out. I'm like, bro, where did the time go? Like, your own apartment, G? Come on, man, you ain't ready.
Yeah,
like,
Drake,
I wasn't ready.
Let me tell you, bro. Let me tell you. You know how you your first love or even your second love, y'all break up, you in the bushes. You know what I'm saying? You calling her phone. Well, okay, well, I wasn't in the bushes. Technically, I was behind a tree. But y'all know what I mean. You get to a point where it's like you overdo things.
So when my daughter, please call 911.
when my daughter went on her first field trip, the amount of air tags I had in her bag. In the middle of my work, I drove all the way to the event they was at and sat there. And just sat there and waited till that bus left. And I followed that bus all the way back to the school. I was at work. But that's what you go through as your firstborn, your secondborn, your first girl, your first boy, it don't matter. Man, you're gonna be attached to them forever. And just knowing how this world is and how the world used to be, the world you grew up in, the streets you grew up in, the streets that they have now, dog, we constantly got to upgrade and update our emotions all the time because the world is changing. They dealing with social media and all this other crazy stuff.
We didn't
you know
even
what I'm
touch
saying?
on that, man.
We was here before all of that. We was the ambassadors to the internet. And seeing them going through cyberbullying and things like that, and they looking at different lifestyle that's taking over their emotions and influencing them to be a certain way that we didn't have to worry about because we was outside. You know what I'm saying? And now we got to teach. We have to make sure that we could somehow instill some of that stuff that we learned in the late 70s, early 80s, early 90s and stuff like that. We just pray that they get some of that and take some of that with them, because you're gonna be a parent forever.
And that's what's so funny, because my grandfather, God rest his soul, he told me when I was maybe like 7 or 8 years old. And I guess if they tell it to you young enough, like it'll stick. And even though it's always in like the back of your head, it'll come out eventually, right? So he told me, and I wrote it down. He says, no matter how good you treat the women in your life, you'll always treat your children better. And it never dawned on me until my daughter would, arrived. And even then, there were women in my past. They were like, "You better get a girl for the way that you treat women." I'm like, "Yo, I thought I treated women pretty nice." Like, in the grand scheme of things. And when my daughter came out, or when she was born, it was like, oh, it was like the eye-opening moment where that quote came out, and I had to have like that come to Jesus moment. It was like, okay, like her mother, like, do I love her? Obviously, but do I love my daughter more? And I had to talk to my grandmother about this. And she told me exactly what my grandfather said, which is why I wrote the quote of like, no matter how good you treat the women in your life, like you're always going to love them. You're just not going to love them as much as you love the product of what the two of you brought together in that union. So I don't know, like, how do y'all feel about that? Do you feel like that is true? Is it false? Like, how do you feel?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. It just I can't explain the I can't explain it, but with a kid in general, but with these daughters, God plays these tricks on you, bro. Having a daughter is not for the weak, but it definitely, like y'all was talking about earlier, crying over your stuff. Dogs, I've been crying. I'll tell you, I can't watch nothing on TV no more. That video, I still got a save video of that little white kid, and I wanted to say this. It was a little white kid, and he was in the Tennessee Titans tunnel. Did y'all see that video?
Yeah.
And those linebackers, and he was just saying hi,
Yeah,
and then and then one of the guys picked him up, and I'm like, I started crying, and I'm like, why am I crying? I'm like, this is so sweet. I ain't never said the word sweet, not like that.
Soft ass man.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. The stuff that hits the hardest is those dad moments, though. Like on TV, like when you talking about, I'm telling you right now, when he was talking about the golden buzzers on American Idol, American Got Talent, his ball and crying. When I'm watching, I'm like, man, I swear to you, I don't even remember what it was, but it was a father-son moment. Me and my son on the couch watching TV. He don't even see me balling. He'd have grabbed his iPad and started playing Roblox. I'm right next to him on the couch, looking like you would have thought I just got through watching what's the Notebook, and oh boy, just it's the end when he see his wife and he has to remind her and tell her the story every time. Like you would have, I mean, and he just on Roblox.
They was
Didn't pay
cutting
no
onions.
attention to it. I looked down at him like,
Hey, you know, hey, G, you know what they say though, right? If you cry, it depending on how much you cry, is how much you was in them streets.
It might be correlating. I ain't gonna lie to you.
That's why I got on TikToks now. I cry for everything. I was in the streets heavy, so I stay crying. I'm crying right now. I had to get off the live now. I'm just crying. What you crying for? Because I feel like crying. Why you? I still slap fire at your ass. Why you worry about me crying? Like you just.
But that's the thing though. I always follow it with that. Like, yeah, I'm more emotional now, but I'll still beat you up though.
Yeah,
in a very violent, emotional way. I'll cry doing so.
And it might be worse because I'm emotional.
I'm gonna cry while I'm slapping the shit out of you.
Hold on. G-Jack, you had something a second ago.
Nah, I was gonna say I caught myself one time. This was my firstborn was younger, and I didn't have my other two kids. I was dropping them off at school, and I was late for work as usual. But it was on like Father's Day weekend or something. It was like that Friday. So I'm headed to work. I just dropped them off at school. His mama pissed me off and all this stuff. And I remember I listened to the Rick Gibson Smiley Morning Show, and they did like a tribute, and they played that Will Smith, Just the Two of Us. Man, brother broke down in the car. It got me. I was like, God,
it's
perfect
over.
time, and it was over with.
Hey, look, real quick. When y'all get that compliment, but the compliment is like it goes against the wife though. So, like, for example, Bailey be like, no, I want daddy to make the cookies. You don't make the cookies. Daddy make the cookies. And I would just be like, yeah, that's my you heard
Boy,
you
those
heard
hit.
her.
Hey, those hit so different.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
like
yo, that's the best compliment. Oh, she said, I gotta make them. You can't touch the cookies. That's what she said.
your cookies trash.
Mm-mm.
No, I be seeing that meme on TikTok when the mom was trying to say mama, the little girl say dad, and they put it in the car seat, didn't leave. But nah, man. But other than that, man, we about to close this thing out. Like, once again, how y'all like to be appreciated? Y'all got any shout outs for anything, man? We'd love to hear from you.
I won't lie. The coolest things that I have in my life right now are all my kids, the stuff that the kids give me. Like my daughter just gave me this for Father's Day. It says like Cool Dads Club. They call me Daddy-O. I got a shirt that says Super Daddy-O on it. Like a little Super Mario shirt. My son loves dinosaurs. He's like he says a Daddyosaurus. I got a Daddyosaurus shirt. And then I got the dude from Despicable Me when he was dressed like a fairy. Father of the Year shirt. I got the shirt that says Dope Black Dad and got the kid's name on it. Like I remember it's so for me anyway. I got like it's in my arsenal of clothes now. I told somebody, man, like I'm a dad, bro.
Listen, I only got
care.
so much knee. I only got so much knee I can use a day. So I'm not giving you no extra speed. You can go behind me. You go past me. I done used all my knee energy for the day. I got about 82 sitting. No, I ain't got no more knee left. I got about 15% of knee left for the rest
I
of the
keep
day.
telling people, man, I turned 39, but my knee's 85. You know what I'm saying?
I still challenge my son though. I haven't let him know this. But I put him in a crossface chicken wing the other day and he got out of it. I got scared.
Hey, that's crazy.
But the case in point is, man, these memories, these discussions, is absolutely necessary. Thank y'all once again. If nobody else tell y'all, well, you are appreciated, you are loved, you are valued. You're doing the work that God intended you to do. It maybe become discouraging from being a significant other, a husband, just co-parenting or just dealing with something from a distance. Man, the work that you're doing is absolutely needed, and mentoring the kids and being that example, like I said, I was telling you, you may not know the impact that you're making on others' lives, so keep it going, man. So I want to say thank y'all to everybody here right now, but we about to close it out, man. I want to tell everybody, look in the description of the podcast, make sure to like, share, comment, follow us on anywhere you listen or you want to watch Everythang Culture. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on Twitter, TikTok, IG. Did I say YouTube already? YouTube. We're trying to hit 1,000 on YouTube. We're almost there, but we appreciate the love and support. And always, our mission statement here at Everythang Culture comes from the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which are, he believed that men hate each other because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because of segregation. And because of segregation, we have miscommunication. So we created this podcast on the pillars of respect, communication, and consistency so we can get to know each other, so we can love one another. So I want to thank all you brothers again. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless. Peace.
So